Have you ever noticed how the people around you can influence the way you think, the way you see yourself, and even the decisions you make about your future? Well, sometimes we don't realize how much our environment affects our confidence, our mindset, and even what we believe is possible for our life. And today, I really want to talk about why the right community can completely change the directions of someone's life. So, for those who doesn't know me, my name is Sandy. I spent over 25 years working in the film industry here in Canada. And while I'm grateful for that journey, there came a point where I started realizing that I wanted more balance, more flexibility, more growth, and more control over my life and future. One thing I realized along this journey is this: sometimes your life starts changing when the conversations around you start changing. And I think this is something many people are silently needing right now. So for today's live, I'll be talking about 5 points and I'm going to give my reflection. So here are the 5 points. The people around you influence your thinking. Sometimes we don't see our own potential. Growth often starts outside the comfort zone, and the right community can create momentum, and your environment can either drain you or develop you. And ending with my personal reflection. Okay, so let's dive in with our first point. The people around you influence your thinking. And I think if you reflect a little bit, you will realize yes. So whether we realize it or not, the people we spend time with influence our mindset, our confidence, our habits, our energy, and even our vision for the future. So, research in psychology has shown that environments and social circles influence behavior, motivation, and belief systems more than most people realize. So, if you constantly hear people talking negative, or people talking about fear, or limitation, or discouragement, guess what? Eventually, you start thinking your own vision too. But when you're around people talking about growth, possibilities, learning, leadership, building, becoming better, it starts shifting something inside you. So your perspective, your mindset starts shifting. So that's what makes the difference, with the people you are surrounded. So what are you hearing from them? Okay. So now let's move on to the second point. So sometimes we don't see our own potential. Yeah, I think many people underestimate themselves sometimes. Not because they lack ability, but because they have been in an environment where nobody reminds them of what they are capable of. Sometimes all it takes to change, and to do something that you thought that you couldn't do is one conversation, one mentor, one supportive community, one person believing in you. So, to help you start seeing yourself differently, this will make a change on you. And that completely changed your direction. And I've seen this, in our community and on myself. And I do relate to this point when we say sometimes we don't see our own potential because, especially when you start your journey, um, you can see you're focusing on learning and all this, but you don't really see yourself changing, but people around you, they can see the change. So I do relate to that point. um, so point number 3: growth often starts outside the comfort zone. So one thing I learned is that growth rarely feels comfortable in the beginning. you know Usually, you don't feel comfortable when you're trying something new, when learning new skills, or showing up online, putting yourself out there. All of that can feel uncomfortable at first, but studies on personal growth and confidence show that confidence is usually built after action, not before. And sometimes the right community gives you the courage to take that first step, and I have seen that firsthand. We do have a comment here from Toblos Otsik. So he say, hello. Hi, thank you for watching. He said you have a question. Okay, so what is your question? If you can put it in the comments. In the meantime, I'm gonna continue. Okay, so we were talking about growth. Okay, so um, growth often starts outside the comfort zone. Yeah, so when you see, many times you think that you have to have that confidence beforehand, but that's not true. Confidence, you start building it when you start taking action. So when you start repeating those things that you have fear to do, that you don't feel comfortable to do, that's when you start building the confidence, and eventually, you're able to uh, go out of that comfort zone, and that's the growth. Okay. Um, okay, so the next point is the right community can create momentum. Okay, so one thing I love seeing today is ordinary people from different backgrounds encouraging each other and growing together. You know, I see a lot of these in our community, people who once doubted themselves, that they couldn't do something, now they can do it. Some people who thought they were too shy, I was one of them, and now look at me, I'm just in front of the camera. Or some other people that thought they were too old to do something, and they are doing the business. One of my business partners, she is 74, I believe, and she's doing the business, and she's doing live things that she never thought that she could do. And also, not tech savvy, so same thing, people who thought that they couldn't deal with the computer, new technology, and now, they learn all those skills and they're able to do it. Or some people that thought that it's too late to do something different. And I think many of us, we can relate to that. But it's never too late, really, when you want to make a change in your life. So starting to realize they are capable of more than that, that they thought, that's when, um, create that momentum. So sometimes, that momentum is very powerful. And sometimes seeing other people grow helps you believe you can grow too. So that's the power of the community. When you're surrounded with people that they're the same as you, they were in your shoes before, and you can see, how they were able to achieve what they have. You see, well, if they can do it, so can I, So um, that's what we were talking about this point. The right community can create momentum. Let's check here. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. So your environment can either drain you or develop you. And that is totally true. I totally agree with that. So this was a huge realization for me personally, because some environments keep people surviving, okay, and others help people evolve. So again, is what you're surrounded around. Some conversations keep people stuck in fear. Others help people think differently about life and possibilities. And I think many people today are craving environments that will inspire them, that will create that growth, that will create that support, that will create that encouragement, that will create that peace, like that leadership and that possibility, because the world feels heavy for a lot of people right now. So when you are surrounded by an environment that will uplift you, that will motivate you, will support you, in your journey, that, makes a huge difference in your life and in your journey. So here is my personal reflection about what we just talked today. So honestly, one of the things I'm most grateful for in this season of my life is being connected to conversations that challenge me to grow. And that's what I have found in this community. I never thought that I could learn about AI and all that. Like I tried before I started this journey, and my nephew was trying to explain, and I couldn't get it. And once I started my journey, I was able to learn, and and I could see I haven't mastered 100%, but I'm almost there. So that's the growth that I seen on myself, the change on me. because growth changes you. So one of the things that you learn when you're, surrounded by people that will uplift you and motivate you is that you start thinking differently. you know you will have a different perspective on life. You will be more open to see opportunities in front of you. You start seeing, life differently. you know um Instead of looking at the life before, thinking negative, now you're thinking positive, because you're always looking for the positive side of it, because there's always a positive side of something that is negative. It depends how you look at it. And you start becoming a different version of yourself. So you start evolving into a new you, a new identity. For example, if you were someone who were very negative, you were always talking negative to yourself, you know, and now, you're evolving into a new positive, and someone who will start believing in yourself, that you're capable of doing, things that you thought that you couldn't do it. So that's what we're talking about. Just start becoming a different version of yourself. And I truly believe, many people are only one environment away from completely changing the direction of their future. So, yeah, so that's the key takeaway for that. And let's find out what is our key takeaway. So, that was my personal reflection. Sorry. Uh, this is my key takeaway. Key takeaway. There you go. My key takeaway for this topic. So sometimes the change you've been looking for doesn't start with having everything figured out. You don't have to have everything figured out. Sometimes it starts with new conversations, new perspectives, new environments, and becoming open to growth again. So that's what it makes the difference. So, if this conversation connected with you today, maybe this is your season to start protecting your mindset, your environment, and the conversations you allow into your life. And maybe it is also your season to become open to new possibilities, new growth, and a different future. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and I truly appreciate you all. And I want to say thank you for all the people that watched the live with us today, with me today. And also, thank you for the like emoji from Shadlak, Simponda, and also, for the comment from Tobias Shotisoke. Yeah, there you go. So thank you, everyone. God bless you all. And I'll see you tomorrow with another topic. Bye, everyone.